Welcome to the Political Matrix News. Politics, people, local, regional, national news. Political Matrix News keeps you informed. We have the sources, we have the truth from inside the Political Matrix.
Welcome back to another edition of the Political Matrix podcast. I'm Mike Bates with the Mike Bates Show. Greg Fink is with us in Gainesville. Charles Barfield with us in Orlando. Welcome back, guys.
Hello.
So there's several states and even a few municipalities that are looking into paying reparations. Now, this has been a conversation that's been going on for decades, but it wasn't until only about a year or two ago that city councils actually approved it. So what's going to happen here? Are reparations appropriate? And if so, how are they going to be decided and funded? Who wants to take this one first?
I start. Well, when you talk about African-American people, there's no group in the history of the world or the earth has been done legally like African-American people from slavery. Now, historically, every group has been funded by our federal government in some capacity. The American Indians have had different settlement reparations. Germany has paid the Jewish population for World War I. In fact, there are some 70, 80-year-old Jewish people now still getting reparation from Germany. Germany has been a real restoration of its wrongs from a geopolitical standpoint. And it did a very bad thing with the rise of Hitler and people that was passive with Hitler. But they have economically did right by their wrongs. And America has done right with just about every other group except for the African Americans. And slavery is America's greatest sin. It was intentional. It was legal. It was for centuries, and it is well overdue. And it's just time. It's past time. The economic wealth accumulation from slavery still exists, from the railroads to the cotton industry, banking industry that was used slaves, my people, my ancestors as assets for decades. Many of those banks and that led to other corporate entities still exist right now. And the only person benefiting from that has been exclusively white America, and the African Americans have not really benefited that. Now,
yeah,
and the thing about reparations that the slave owners was always paid reparations before, so it's not a new concept. It's just a who now finally should be entitled to the reparations. Reparations always been paid.
Well, first of all, it wasn't just white people that benefited. There were plenty of black people that owned slaves in the South as well, and for that matter, black people in the North that owned slaves, just like white people in the North owned slaves. But let's assume that reparations are appropriate, which I don't agree with, but let's assume for the sake of discussion that they are. How would those reparations be calculated? For instance, I look white, but I'm part white, I'm part black, and I'm part Hispanic. But my light skin makes me look Caucasian. So am I entitled to a partial payment? And what about Barack Obama, whose father was temporarily in the United States a century after slavery, but was never a U.S. citizen? Does he get reparations money? Or does his white half cancel that out? Do billionaire people like Oprah Winfrey or get any reparations money? Ben Carson, he's black, he doesn't want it. Larry Elder, he's black, he doesn't want it. Are we going to force them to take it? And what about the descendants of slaves who were owned by free black men? Do they qualify for reparations, or do we reduce the payments to all black people because some black people own slaves? And since some Native Americans owned black slaves, do they have to pay into the reparations fund? Or is their portion going to be offset because of all the government treaties that we violated? Would Republicans be exempt from paying into the reparations fund because it was exclusively Democrats who were trying to preserve slavery? And it was Republicans who fought to abolish it. In fact, that was the whole reason the Republican Party was established. And to make up for lost revenue of Republicans not paying in, does that mean Democrats have to pay twice as much? I mean, there's so many questions. There's so few answers. It's so complicated. And the entire idea, frankly, of reparations is absurd because those who advocate for it are demanding that money be taken from people who never had slaves and be given to people who never were slaves. It is nothing but a political money grab, and it cannot happen?
The slaves built the country. The slaves built the economic industry that we still benefit out of. And the people who benefited that was exclusively white Americans, period. That's not even controversial. That's a reality. Now, we can
No
have
black
things.
people benefited
No,
from America being built up? Come on, Charles, that's ridiculous.
no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Oh,
When you look
Barack
at,
Obama, yeah, he's living in poverty and he's
well,
pretty black. Was that
well,
it? I mean,
well,
and he's not the only black person I'm mentioning. I mean, there are all kind of black successful people in America,
what
middle
we're
class
talking
too,
about,
and they're fine.
statistically, we talking about a statistical reasonable accounting in terms of the population of slavery was a 100% violation of a moral and human code that
Absolutely,
was perpetrated against the African American people. That's reality.
also
That's
true.
not theory. Now,
Also true.
at that detriment, there was nothing positive about that for the African American experience. And then the slave owners were given reparation. They were given, and the promise was the 40 acres in a mule. Now, in terms of what you are talking about earlier, the bottom line is that they're not pundits or people who have political aspiration on the issue. They're actually experts that have done this on all other type of reparations. That so the criteria will be met by people who are thinkers, people who are well trained from the best schools in America have done. They've already dealing with this. The state of California, I believe, Ohio. So there are states that's taking the lead on this, which our government should be better at it because it has done it with everybody else before. I
How much
mean,
is it going to cost, Charles? Do you know the price tag?
I don't know, and frankly, I don't care. The
Well,
American
I know
didn't
the
ask for
price
that.
tag. It's too much. Can't afford it.
No, it's too long, and the benefit, the wealth, the wealth, theft, rape of centuries of a people, and the killing of 35 million African people in the transatlantic slave trade, that's never been paid. And the economic advantages that for centuries exclusively went to white America at the detriment of the slaves, and there was nothing. There was a Freedmen Bureau Bank that, in theory, was initially supposed to be part of reparation back in the day. But guess what? You know who benefited from that? And the bank was shut down? White America. Every promise that was given to African American people has been a bridge, or it was a theory. It never manifested, and so this is well overdue. And the hypocrisy of it is that every other group that has been done wrong in every segment of America has been given reparation. But it really is amazing how the one group of people, minority group, that was done the worst, and everybody knows that, but they just have a problem with, oh, it costs too much of this. Well, we don't have no problem giving Israel billions of dollars with a blank check with no restriction whatsoever. We don't have a problem getting Ukraine billions and billions of dollars.
All right. Well,
The
you're getting
question
off
is about
subject, and
value.
that's just as well because we're out of time anyway. So we got to go. We will be back with another segment in a moment with more of the political matrix news.
All right.